Hey everybody, how you doing today? Got an article here from Business Insider that I know you're going to want to hear. Yesterday I saw a few news articles that popped up that were talking about this new thing that's coming out with children, okay, that it's emerging in children. And so I went and looked into it, to see what this is. And here is an article on it, okay? A serious new coronavirus-related condition may be emerging in children, with UK doctors reporting growing numbers requiring intensive care. Now, if they're going to push it this far to start saying that it's going to hit your children, you know that that's going to strike a chord with so many, and that's going to put the fear is going to go straight through the roof. It's just going to, it won't stop.
12-year-old Julia Daly emergency airlifted to a Louisiana hospital after complaining of stomach pain.
And at what point, what moment did you know that something was wrong?
Her lips were blue and her arms were cold. Her body was going into shock.
There, she tested positive for coronavirus, and things took a terrifying turn.
Her heart rate started dropping even more. It went from 40 to 20 to 0. And they called a code. And they did 2 minutes of CPR on her. And thank God they were able to bring her back.
Julia suffered from cardiac arrest, her doctors believe triggered by a new, rare complication of COVID-19. So far, there have been nearly 100 reported cases in the U.S. and Europe.
This new shock syndrome is really a very small tip of a larger iceberg,
with some children reporting a red rash all over their bodies, strikingly similar to an uncommon childhood illness called Kawasaki disease.
How's it different from Kawasaki disease?
The body's immune response is much more exaggerated than in typical Kawasaki disease, and the heart is the major target.
With concern mounting, leading doctors from around the globe joined the World Health Organization, CDC, and NIH for a virtual meeting tonight to exchange information and investigate the unusual condition. While the nation's top doctors have said for weeks that children are mostly spared from coronavirus,
they do not necessarily at all get serious disease.
A new warning for all parents.
Take this pandemic seriously and make sure you continue to social distance. We almost lost her.
Dr. Torres, this is very rare, but what should parents be on the lookout for?
And Jose, until we find out more information about this condition and its possible connection to coronavirus, parents should be looking out for these symptoms: fevers, rash particularly on the back, the chest, or the stomach, red eyes, or abdominal pain, much like what Juliet suffered from. But overall, remember, this is still a rare finding, but another reminder of why we all need to stay safe.
Doctors in the UK have reported a serious condition emerging in children that could be related to the coronavirus, with growing numbers requiring intensive care. A significant alert sent to general practitioners in London said that in the past 3 weeks, there has been an apparent rise in the number of children of all ages presenting with a multi-system inflammatory state requiring intensive care. This is according to a Monday report by the Health Service Journal. The alert added that there is a growing concern that a COVID-19 related inflammatory syndrome is emerging in children in the UK, or that there may be another as yet unidentified infectious pathogen associated with these cases. See how they did that right there? That's a double threat, a double fear, push right there. Yeah, that it could be getting caused, this could be getting caused by COVID-19, or that there is even a different, infectious pathogen that's out there, so that there's actually even maybe another horrible thing out there that's going to come for your kids. It told doctors to please refer children presenting with these symptoms as a matter of urgency. The UK Health Secretary Matt Hancock told a press conference on Monday that he was very worried about the reports of the condition, which Stephen Powis, the National Health Services Medical Director for England, said could be similar to Kawasaki disease. We're going to come back to that part right there. While we have become aware in the past few days of reports of severe illness in children which might be a Kawasaki-like disease, Powis said, adding that the service had asked experts to look into this as a matter of urgency. The coronavirus pandemic has so far mostly affected adults, and the total number of cases of this unidentified condition in children is small. The UK's chief medical advisor, Christopher Whitty, told the press conference, okay, so if it's small, you know, the numbers of it are so small, then why are you putting it out in mainstream like this until you actually know what is going on? Because you want fear, you want panic. They're going to continue to change all the symptoms, the people it affects, so on and so forth, so that eventually all the lines have been blurred and any person in the world could have it. However, Whitty said it was plausible that there was a link between the condition and the coronavirus. Plausible, right? Just more things that they just throw out there that they haven't investigated, they haven't done the research on. You know, this is just typical, news now. They just say whatever they want. They say stuff like this, that it could be, it might not be. And then if they're, wrong, they just come back and say, oh, we're sorry, it was an editing mistake, or we didn't know about it, We apologize. But take our word for it next time. The Pediatric Intensive Care Society, which issued a separate urgent alert about the condition, called for an early discussion of all new cases to identify its origin and limit its spread, the report said. The alert said that condition had features of toxic shock syndrome and atypical Kawasaki disease with blood parameters consistent with severe COVID-19 in children, according to the report. They added that abdominal pain and gastrointestinal symptoms and cardiac inflammation were common. The alert said that this has been observed in children with confirmed PCR positive SARS-CoV-2 infection, as well as children who are PCR negative. Referring to the official name of the coronavirus, it added that serological evidence of possible preceding SARS-CoV-2 infection has also been observed. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has come under growing pressure to reopen the nation's schools following the national lockdown that began in March. Okay, so this is, here you go. There's the agenda. That's the reason that this story came out, right? Because he's getting pressure to put the kids back in school. So why aren't you going to put our kids back in school, right? Well, we can't now because there's this brand new thing that is, attacking our children. That's all part of this coronavirus, and we just can't do it. You still have to stay in your homes and do everything that we say. Okay, but now let's go up here. I want to go back to the Kawasaki disease, okay? They are saying in this article that it is similar to the Kawasaki disease, but that it's not the Kawasaki disease. So I just started doing just a little bit of research on that disease itself, okay? And this is what I found. Kawasaki disease is a condition that mainly affects children under the age of 5. It's also known as a mucocutaneous lymph node syndrome. The characteristic symptoms are a high temperature that lasts for 5 days or more with a rash, swollen glands in the neck, dry/cracked lips, red fingers or toes, and red eyes. After a few weeks, with the correct treatment, the symptoms become less severe, but it can take longer than this in some children. Okay, so now we know what it is, okay? These are the symptoms, right? So let's dig a little deeper and check this out. Scientists who studied it think the evidence strongly suggests it's caused by an infectious agent such as a virus or, guess what, a vaccine. It's very rare for more than one child in a family to develop Kawasaki disease. Less than 2% of children have another attack of Kawasaki disease. If your child suffered from fever that lasts 1 to 2 weeks, extremely red eyes, and extremely red, swollen tongue, swollen, red skin on the palms of the hands and soles of the feet, swollen lymph nodes in the neck shortly after receiving a vaccine, then we may be able to help. Vaccine. So guess what? Why are the children getting this Kawasaki, type symptoms? Why are they, coming down with these things? Because of the vaccines. The vaccines are causing this. Once again, they have to have another reason for why people are getting sick, dying, and all those things the way that they do. Because they have to have a cover story for their vaccines. Obviously, they have now come out and said, oh, these children are going to start getting these symptoms, but it's about the coronavirus. But we know what it is. It's the vaccines. Guess how many have gone and gotten flu shots? Vaccine developers, the FDA and the CDC seem to be doing their best to obscure any links between vaccines and the serious adverse effects like Kawasaki disease. In a vaccine safety data link study, Prevnar was associated with a 3-fold risk of Kawasaki disease. A 3-fold. That's right there. That shows you the vaccination. 3-fold, 3 times more likely to get this. Yes, it's because these vaccines cause all this pain, all this, everything that these families have to go through and these kids have to go through. So now what they're going to do is they're going to use your children as bait. They're going to use your children as pawns. Do you understand that they're not going to stop here? They are going to try to terrify everyone that they can right now because all these places are opening up and people are technically starting to go back to their lives. So they have to have enough fear in them right now. Because once they get out, they're going to realize that it's not what they're saying it is. Once people get out, start talking to everybody, seeing things for their own, for themselves, they're going to realize it. Unless you push enough fear in them to protect your children. That no matter what you hear now, you're going to block it out. Because all that you can think about is protecting your child. And when they're going to give you the only answer is this amazing, golden, life-saving vaccine. That's what you're going to go and do. Another thing that I do not understand, I think it's hilarious because, all they've been talking about is when we get this coronavirus vaccine, it's going to be awesome. It's going to, solve everything. It's a cure-all, right? This vaccine is going to be a cure-all.
Won't be normal until we get an amazing vaccine to the entire world.
Well, don't we have a flu vaccine? Don't people still get the flu each year? Don't people still die from the flu each year? But you have your vaccine for that. Oh, that's right. It's a new strain, so you can't keep up. It only works so on and so forth. Exactly. Because it's all lies. And you're going to use the same exact scenario for the coronavirus. You've already said it that it's going to come back. It's going to be a seasonal thing. Because this is all set up. And they're going to do everything they can to use this to control you, to trace you, to track you, to test you, to vaccinate you. You have to see through this. Please share this with anybody you know. We have to get this information out there because when they start doing this, when they start putting your children as the pawns in the forefront of the media, there's no turning around at that point. We have to get this information out now. Children are definitely about to be put at an extremely higher rate. Thank you all. Remember, stay in the Word. Stay in your Bibles daily. It will give you your balance. It allows me to be able to push on, to push through all the negativity, all of the attacks, all the spiritual attacks that I get. The more that I speak about Jesus, the more that I try to help people find themselves and find their way to Jesus, the more that I get attacked, the more that it's just, nonstop, wave after wave coming at me. But it's fine, because when I have Jesus, he stands in the way and blocks every single wave, and nothing even makes a difference. So you all can have that as well too, and I know most of you do. But if you don't, please ask Jesus into your heart, because you can see where everything is going, and it's not going to end up in a good place. Let's all stand together. Let's stick together. And let's stand up against this evil. Thank you all. We'll talk to you real soon. God bless.